Dana was telling us that your character Stan is kind of based after his own dad, but that at the end of it, you're nothing like his dad. So tell us how you kind of created that character and what you brought to it.
Stan, the protagonist was written as Dana Gould's father, who was 20 years older than me, and so early on we had to establish that John Mcginley's Stan. And so we're gonna make, there's two schools of American acting. One's De Niro's and one's Malkovich's. And De Niro, when he was trading at his highs, used to try to become the character. And Malkovich always said he lets the characters become him. I'm from John's school. I let the characters become me. So Stan, I invited Stan into me. And that was the entry point into Stan.
So it's kind of like the demons coming in and taking over bodies.
I know, but with all the witches and the demons in Stan Against Evil, the funniest thing was that the objective I gave Stan over the 8-episode arc wasn't to save the world or kill the witches or get the girl. It was to get to your lazy boy chair. And so whenever Stan's not in his chair, he's in the wrong place. And that's the most passive objective I've ever given a character, and it yielded profound dividends.
And it looks like you and Evie, that character, are going to have a really fun kind of interaction. Can you tell us a little bit about how it was working with her and how that's going to evolve?
Well, Janet Varney's the soon-to-be Harrison Ford of action. She is capable of doing anything. She's kind of has Barbara Stanwyck's screwball moves, which is unbelievable because screwball comedy dictates that the female's the protagonist and she drives the comedy. And Janet has enough spine to do that. And I watched her as a producer and as an actor, and she kind of blew the back of my head off. And she could accommodate us starting to occupy a screwball tone, which is hard. When the Barbara Stanwicks of the world do it, and she fit right into that mode, and it liberated a lot of the tone of the piece because she's a stud.
Were there other things that surprised you about working in this genre and on this show that you didn't think you'd see coming?
As one of the producers on the piece, what I was obsessed with, in synchronicity with Dana Gould, the writer-producer, was that we had to straddle two tones. The one tone was scary, and the one tone was funny. And you never see it because it's really hard to do. So when Ash vs. Evil does it, or An American Werewolf in London does it, those are anomalies. But that's the bandwidth where we want it to really resonate. And so in post, we really protected those two. So the jokes can't invalidate the scary, and the scary can't eclipse the funny. And so with a pedigree like Dana's, who drove The Simpsons for 9 years, we had the comedy down, and he's a horror geek. And I mean that as a compliment. And where I come in was I wanted to find Stan's soul so that he could be an equal opportunity offender at his own expense. Like Archie Bunker had Edith, and Edith is what floated him. And we meet Stan in the first 2 minutes of the pilot. He's lost his wife of 30 years and his job of 27 years. He's injured, he's hurt, and he doesn't have a rabbi or a priest or a shrink that he can go and do loss reconciliation with. And so he has to try to process that on his own, and he can't. And so I wanted to explore that, not put it up on a billboard, because since it's a comedy, but he has to be grounded in loss. And Dana let me do that, and that's how I could get in.
Speaking of great comics, so many of us loved you in Scrubs, and in that role, one of your jobs, you kind of mentored the rookie doctors and gave them advice in ways. What kind of advice would you give to somebody having to fight all the demons like you had to do?
Well, I don't know if Stan can dole out advice because, like I said, all he wants to do is be in his chair. And so his go-to is take a pipe and bash him on the head. He doesn't have a super secret ray gun or pixie dust. He has a lead pipe and he bashes witches over the head, which is genius. Of course that's how you dispatch a witch. So I thought that was pretty authentic and great.
Well, and he's also got a lot of funny lines. Is there a certain line that was one of your favorites?
Every single thing that Dana put on the page made me happy. He's the Norman Lear of his generation, and so how great to be able to work with that guy, or that woman, that person. I want to work with that person.
Awesome. Last question. What scares you in real life?
Strange noises in the house, because we've been in the house long enough where noises, and we're way outside of Los Angeles in a kind of very dark, quiet area. And when I hear noises in the house that aren't the heater, that aren't the pipes, that aren't the kids going to the bathroom, that aren't the dog, I get really scared. So strange noises in the house.